All right, guys, in this video, we have run our $5 test, and now we need to make our next steps. We're going to make a quick judgment call on where to go from here, because it's really not going to be that hard for us to determine. But it's really important that we kind of gauge our, market's reaction to our product, because we're going to scale hard determining on that. Now, if you've gone through the other videos, the fundamental videos, or you know how to and understand how to pick a product and target people, your product should be good. Sometimes it's bad, right? And and it does. I mean, because if you get too siloed and you're just inside the marketer mind instead of the customer mind, you might have a product that you think is good, but others do not. And you see this with t-shirts all the time, right? People get attached to their design, and then they don't stop spending money trying to sell that design because they really like it. Well, we're going to be in the customer's mind, not us, the marketer, and we're going to focus on the data to lead us to next steps. So real quick, what we're going to talk about is what are we going to do? We're going to use the reports to quickly determine what to do next. Now we're going to scale either aggressively with our ads into having a page post engagement ad with a buy link in it now, or we're going to kind of take our time, because the $5 test, while it is essential for us to do, it might not give us all the data based on the customer's reaction. I'm going to show you an example, continuing the one that I'd shown you before, where demographics across the board were huge, right? Where we were just ready to rock and roll with every single demographic. But that's not going to be the case for everybody's ad. So what we want to do is use the same targeting and get the feedback. So if you don't have a phenomenal ad, kind of like a sub 1 cent ad, then you want to do what's called a wide open ad. And that's going to be basically 25 to say 64, or whatever your core demographic is, right? And like we talked about in the fundamental video. And we're going to run it to them with a link. And that's basically the same that we did with the $5 test, right? That's what we want to do. Take this exact same targeting that you used for the test, and now we're going to use that to buy. So we bought likes, now we're going to buy sales. So if your CPE on the $5 test is 1 cent or below, consider an upfront segmentation based off the report winners. And I'll show you that here in a second, like I said. Make sure to attach a conversion pixel to track sales and build your pixel. Now, if you're on Shopify, make sure to watch the Trackify videos before you take this next step, and so that you can set up your niche pixels and be ready as Thomas suggests in that Trackify video. And that's going to be really crucial for you to really scale out. The goal here is to get initial sales and refine our ads, right? So we want to get some guys coming in, some sales coming in, and then the demographics will present themselves. This is routine stuff that we always do. We want to make sure we're having routine checks of our winning demographics and refining our ads accordingly. So if we did run 25 to 64, say female, and we saw that 25 to 34 was where all the conversions were coming in, then that's where we want to run an ad, right? We could either refine our next ad or refine that ad. I go for refining our next ad. So I would keep a winning ad going at all costs, right? Because it's winning. And then we would create a 25 to 34 to push more traffic in that instance to that demographic. Use single interest for PPE ads. This is what we do. A lot of people might say, oh, I've never done that before and I had stuff that wins. But my theory, and I've proven this out over hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, is the less pixel data you have, the more control you need to have. So with a page post engagement ad, you're not even optimizing for the pixel. So you have no pixel data. So you need to have the most amounts of control. And that's the same thing with a click to website ad. I do single interest for a click to website ad because it doesn't optimize for anything involving a pixel. Now a website conversion ad, you can throw multiple interests within that ad when you're targeting. And the reason for that is that you're going to have, at that standpoint, or that stage, more pixel data. Hopefully a well-matured pixel. And so you don't have to necessarily have that much control. You still can, and it will still work. However, you don't have to. Scale out, when this is back to the PPE ad, scale out with more ads using community cause marketer pages. And I'm going to show you a cool trick where you can actually search for community pages on Facebook. And that's going to show you a lot of the other too. And then repeat the process, right? So we start with a wide open ad, then we scale out to the winners of that, and then we scale out to other interests on a wide open ad, and then we scale out to the winners of that next wide open ad, and kind of repeat our process. Because guys, ultimately what we're doing is setting ourselves up to have a large amount of PPE ads running. At the same time, we're going to hit the growth stage because of that virality that's going there, building up our pixel, and then we'll bring in other types of ads to leverage those, right? So, those pixel fires. And that's going to help us hit everybody in that niche, because we remember that not everybody is included in the engagement audience, in the website conversion audience, or the clicker audience. We want to be hitting all those people in order to really scale as much as our potential can be. So let's go over into the ads manager real quick. And what I wanted to show you again was this winner. It's, the best ad I've probably ever run for a $5 test, 0.003. And that's really going to be something that we can do the upfront scaling on. So what we want to look at is who was reacting to this. So what you can do is do a breakdown, and this is just for female only in this instance. So let's go ahead and hit age. You could also hit age and gender if that was something you were worried about. And you can see here that almost everybody was the real winner here, right? We had all age demographics, 18 to 24, 25 to 34, and so on and so forth, responded very, very well to this. But the majority of the traffic was hit on this guy, right? The 25 to 34 hit the most results as far as engagements, with each one of these guys being around that mark, about half that mark. But every age demographic had a very, very low cost per engagement. So I know I can run, because it's below the 1 cent mark, I know I can run a page post engagement here, 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 and also here if I wanted to. There's not a lot of people in this niche in that age demographic, but you can see that it did very well. So that's instantly going to give me a $5 ad into a $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, $30 worth of spend. And each one of these is going to have a link to buy. So then that's another way that we can push traffic or push our offer to a larger group of people faster, because there's going to be more eyeballs on this, because each one is going to get a special amount of traffic because they have their individual ads. So I want to beat that into your head over and over again, that's what we're doing here. So let's go into what we would do next, right? So we had picked our interest before, right? And just to reiterate that, it was the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, right? And that is what we're going to do. We used it for our $5 test. Now we're going to do it for an ad with a link in it. By the way, if you had done a boost post to your page, now you want to do the same process and boost a PPE ad to your page with a buy link. So now we're going to go over into creating our boosted post, or boost your post to an outside source, not just to your fan page. They also do call this a boosted post. It is a page post engagement ad. And I'm going to create, I had not created a post yet, so I'm going to go ahead and create a post. Attach my photo. Same photo as before. Now I'm going to say, are you a firefighter? Then this is for you. Buy yours here. Link. Also, since it is a page post engagement ad, I had not ask for any kind of engagement here because there's going to be a like, a comment, and a share call to action already on the ad when I post it, right? Because that's always part of those posts. But there is no tag. Tag is something that it gets another set of eyeballs to it if people do it. So if I'm ever going to have a second call to action other than what we have here, the buy yours here or buy it now, telling them to buy is the number one objective. My number two objective would be tag your friends below who you think would wear this. Whoops. Okay, so tag is this objective that doesn't exist on the post as is, but it's going to help you get another set of eyeballs to it. Another thing that you can do if you have the Photoshop skills, is instead of having it here, put it on the lower part of this page here. Because if you think about how it scrolls through your feed, if somebody's on their phone and they see your picture and they're scrolling past your buy, you can still have that secondary call to action that's underneath. And that'll help you possibly get a tag or another action there, which will reduce your cost, right? Because it's an action that they'll take, an engagement that they'll take, but also get that extra set of eyeballs, maybe somebody that comes back and buys. So I like to do I don't like to do dark posts, especially with page post engagement, because we want that virality there. Dark posts are harder for that to happen. So we'll go ahead and publish now. And I actually published that to my page. That's how committed I am for you guys. So we'll go ahead and come down here and refine what we want, right? So our demographic data, going back to this, was 18 to 24, 25 to 34. All these guys were well responded, right? So let's go back here. Now, it depends on what you want to do. And I'm willing to risk more money for a product like this, right? Based off that data. So what I would do is create an 18 to 24, women in this in the instance of this data, it's women, right? But since we're doing firefighters, we'll say it was men, 18 to 24-year-old men, and then I could do a 25 to 34 and repeat this process. If you're going to do a wide open, if you want to spend less and really, test out your product, that's perfectly fine. Everybody's got a different amount of money they're willing to risk. So let's do 18 to 64 and then refine the rest of it. So we got the National Fallen Firefighter. Okay. So they got 320,000 people. Perfect. Everybody in the United States. Now here's your budget. I like to do about $5 to $10, right? Again, this was if we were using this data, it's a different product, but if we were using this data, I would aggressively do $5 on each one of those age segments. If I was timid about the product, but I still wanted to test it out and I wanted to do a wide open ad, I would do $10. Page post engagements ads are pretty good at refining, and we're not going crazy with it. We're just going to get the ball rolling to get sales. This is initial entering our product into the market with a buy link and making sure that we are getting our product out there. So $10, we don't want to slow roll this, right? We want to get the product out there and aggressively go. $10 will get some data. It'll refine, it will optimize. Then we can hit the reports just as we did over here. Looking at the performance and the breakdown of a page post engagement ad. If you wanted to bring in, say, customize your columns, bring in the checkouts, you hit that and say conversion pixel. Apply that. Later on, that'll have conversion pixels here. But now we're going to get this out here. We're going to start making sales. So this is what we want to do. We want to show our advanced options. You can hit a URL tag here. If you're familiar with Teespring, if you have a way of tracking this, this is a perfect opportunity for you to hit a URL tag and say like PPE And then we're going to remove the right column and leave mobile and desktop, and then place the order. Okay, and that will get us going. So if we want to repeat this process for the winners, same thing. Let's get the ad up. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. More traffic, more eyeballs to our offer because it's making sales. You know, people want this item. They want to know where to buy it, and we're delivering that to them. And then we're going to get some virality out of it as well. Then we'll have to eventually get more interest to target. Remember, one interest by one interest. So we'll go through here and kind of look for those community style pages. Now, if you don't have any that you find, right? I thought this volunteer firefighters was one. It ended up being a business. But what you can do is get to your graph search and type in communities named X, right? So this is communities named firefighters. So what this is going to do is show me all the interests that are, related to firefighters. So I'll find a couple of them. Here's one, firefighters, 186th, right here. You got 18,000 one, and so on and so forth, right? You're going to go ahead, and there might be some ones in here, and here's another 10,000. There might not be some more in here, but it gives you another option, and you can get creative with it too, right? So your community's name fire, community's name X, right? Firefighters with a space in the middle. You never know. So just get creative with it, search around for it, and use those interests, if they are communities, to get some extra eyeballs onto them, right? And then you can actually cross it in and see if you can find those items here to make sure that they have a solid affinity. But judging by these are going to be a lot of marketer fan pages, so which means they're built up by people like me who were targeting enough and well enough to grow that page to 10,000 people, and so on and so forth. So just something for you to keep in mind, and is another option for you to find more interests. So that is it for this video. What we want you to do is repeat the process with PPE and just get some eyeballs onto our initial phase and get us ready for the growth phase. And we'll see you in the next video.